Would I be right in saying that this is a token fight, given the fact that the numbers now appear heavily stacked in favor of the government's candidate Draupadi Murmu?
My first response to your question is, I would be in the fight even if it was a token fight. But I'd like to correct you. According to my information, it's not a token fight. The numbers are not heavily stacked in favor of Draupadi Murmu, as you said. There will be lots of developments between now and the 18th of July when the election will finally take place.
The numbers, as I said, are heavily stacked. You can dispute the word heavily because Naveen Patnaik and the Biju Janata Dal, part of the opposition, has backed Draupadi Murmu also from Odisha, and the YSRCP of Jagan Mohan Reddy has also chosen to back Draupadi Murmu, as has Nitish Kumar. Now, without the support of these three parties, you do not have the numbers, Mr. Sinha. So the opposition itself is not united.
First of all, Biju Janata Dal or Nitish Kumar, YSR, his party, they were not part of the opposition party's meetings which were held over the 2 days. And to tell you the truth, one never counted on them. And yet, I would only say that why is Biju Janata Dal supporting Srimati Draupadi Murmu? Because she comes from Orissa, isn't it?
Yes, but
so why would you take it for granted that Bihar, Jharkhand MLAs and MPs will not support me?
Is that what you're relying on? You're relying on Bihar and Jharkhand because you, of course, have been contesting elections from Jharkhand. But remember, Draupadi Murmu could be India's first Adivasi president, and Jharkhand has a large tribal population, sir. So the JMM may well choose to support Draupadi Murmu.
Rajdeep, it is your experience and mine that elevation of one individual does not lift the entire community. And we have various examples of that, including the person in front of me. I would very humbly request you to kindly go into her background and not go by the symbolism, merely the symbolism. You and I don't control where we'll be born. I did not control my birth. So how can birth be a disadvantage on which you don't have any control? But leave that apart. I have heard this argument a number of times. My only request is, please compare our respective track records in terms of what I have done for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and what she has done for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes.
But you agree that there is a powerful symbolism in a woman and an Adivasi becoming a presidential nominee versus Yashwant Sinha, several times finance minister, external affairs minister, but seen to represent the status quo or seen to represent the old order. She is seen to represent new order.
Before this, you will recall, we had a lady who was a scheduled caste lady who was put up as a candidate for president. She didn't win because nobody raised this issue that you support her because she comes from the scheduled caste. Now this is being raised because this is how the government and the Bharatiya Janata Party want to fight this election. I don't want to play on their wicket. I have my own wicket to play on.
I'm coming to your wicket in a moment, but the fact is, sir, you're the fourth choice in a way of the opposition. The opposition looked at Sharad Pawar, looked at Farooq Abdullah, looked at Gopal Krishna Gandhi. After all of them declined, they've come to you. Could I say that you are a Balika Bakra? Would that be right to say, a sacrificial lamb?
I said in a press conference which I addressed today that even if I was the 10th choice of the opposition parties, I would have agreed to contest this election, because this election, Rajdeep, is more than me, more than Draupadi Murmu, it is more than Bharatiya Janata Party, it is more than opposition parties. It is a contest for the soul of India. It is the soul of India which is at stake today. And therefore, I have agreed to contest this election. I said, if I were approached and I was the 10th choice, I would have still contested this election.
You're saying it's a battle for the soul of India. Here is someone who's a former BJP person who for years was in the BJP, now taking on a BJP supported candidate and saying this election is of the soul of India. Here is someone who supported Narendra Modi when in the lead up to 2014, now saying this is a battle for the soul of India.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I belong to the BJP. I had supported Narendra Modi in 2013-14. But then I did not have his track record of the last 8 years in front of me. Immediately after Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister, I started looking at his style of functioning. I started looking closely at the policies which were being followed. And you will remember that I came out openly against the policies of the government. And then I decided to quit the party. Why? Because I found that in no way the Bharatiya Janata Party of today is the Bharatiya Janata Party of yesterday. It is not the Bharatiya Janata Party of Mr. Vajpayee, which believed in consensus, not in confrontation. And this government, this party believes only in confrontation. It does not believe in consensus, and consensus is the soul of democracy.